It's time for Alamogordo Town News on Crazy Radio. I'm Anthony Lucero. When it comes to news here on KALH, weather always comes first. Scattered severe thunderstorms may produce damaging winds, large hail, and a couple of tornadoes across parts of the Great Plains into the Midwest. Heavy to excessive rainfall and urban flooding will continue over South Florida into the Florida Keys. Closer to home, temperatures will steadily climb for the week, with highs in the lower deserts climbing to above 100 degrees by the weekend.
Every summer, it happens, again and again. A parent steps away for just a minute, but that minute can turn deadly. On a hot day, the temperature inside a parked car can soar by 20 degrees in just 10 minutes. Even with the windows cracked, the heat builds fast, becoming a deadly trap for a child. Children's bodies heat up 3 to 5 times faster than adults. Heat stroke can begin when a child's body reaches 104 degrees. At 107 degrees, it can be fatal. Last year alone, 24 children died in the U.S. from being left in hot cars, each one preventable. Never leave a child in a vehicle, not even for a minute. Look before you lock. This message is brought to you by the Alamogordo Fire Department and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Protect kids, prevent tragedy.
We'll have another look at the weather following this news.
This is range control with roadblock information. Roadblocks are subject to change without notice. Highway 70, Highway 380, Highway 54, Owen Road, Nike Avenue, and War Highway are scheduled to remain open all day.
A jury convicted Sean LaFleur, 56, of murdering his wife in 2024. New Mexico State Police in Alamogordo received reports of a homicide on October 21st of 24, reports of a homicide on April 21st of 24. Officers found Arkansas resident Nancy LaFleur, 67, in a shallow grave in the desert area near Oliver Lee State Park. They exhumed her body and it underwent an autopsy. They found that she died from a couple of gunshot wounds to the head. Sean LaFleur was charged with first-degree murder and tampering with evidence. He was arrested on April 25th near Cloudcroft. At the end of the 4-day trial, the jury found Sean LaFleur guilty of first-degree murder and evidence tampering. He was sentenced to life in prison. The 877-acre campfire that's been burning in Lincoln County for over a week is now 100% contained. The fire began on Sunday, May 25th. It has damaged 5 structures. The cause of that fire still remains under investigation. The BLM Roswell District, Lincoln County, and the New Mexico Forestry Division are all under fire restrictions or a burn ban. Campfires of any kind, chainsaw use, smoking outdoors, operating motor vehicles off designated roads, and outdoor welding are currently all prohibited. The City of Alamogordo Parks and Recreation Department will hold another town hall meeting to discuss the future management options of Desert Lakes Golf Course. The meeting will include a presentation and provide a chance to address some of the questions and comments received on a recent poll. An open Q&A session will immediately follow that presentation. That's happening tomorrow from 6 until 8 at the Sergeant Willie Estrada Memorial Civic Center, 800 East 1st. This past Friday, the City of Alamogordo issued a post that states, "The City of Alamogordo is proud to host events that bring our community together for family fun, great food, live entertainment, and support for local vendors. To keep these events enjoyable and welcoming for everyone, we want to remind our residents that Alamogordo is a nonpartisan municipal government as established in the city charter, meaning political booths are prohibited, even though political booths may have appeared at past events. The policy was intended to prevent the perception of partisanship at city-sponsored events, such as Fourth Friday events." Amy Barella, the chairman of the Republican Party of New Mexico, challenges Alamogordo city government. She posted that the Republican Party of New Mexico expresses a concern regarding a trend among some municipalities, most recently the city of Alamogordo, to adopt policies that would limit voter registration booths at public events by classifying them as partisan or civic outreach. She calls the approach both legally and civically misguided. Barella suggests this type of restriction may invite legal scrutiny under the First Amendment, as courts have ruled against blanket prohibitions on non-disruptive civic activities in public forums. We heard from Mayor Susan Payne.
I feel like I need to address some comments that were put out this weekend by, I guess, Republican Party Chair Amy Barella, Commissioner Amy Barella. I'm not sure where they came from, but one of those two. And it's regarding city-sanctioned events and not allowing the Republican Party to set up a voter registration booth. I want to be clear. We have no problem with third-party registered agents, registered meeting with the Secretary of State, registered agents, setting up voter registration booths. And so I'm not really sure where all of this came from. What I do know is a couple of years back, the person in charge of the zoo, and I'm trying to be careful how I say this, allowed the now chair of the Republican Party of Otero County to set up a booth. My understanding is that is her mother, and she allowed her mother 2 years ago to set up a booth at the zoo. Our community services director was made aware of it and told her that cannot happen, that it is a policy that the city events are nonpartisan. So this was not an arbitrary thing. This was not the city not being consistent. This is the fact that we have 400 employees in our city, and one of them made an innocent mistake by letting her mother set up a booth. We have since corrected that. The policy is now in writing, is my understanding, and we are very clear where we stand. The city of Alamogordo welcomes voter registration. Of course we do. But it has to be done in a nonpartisan way. So if the Republican Party chair, the Otero County Republican Party chair, can provide paperwork showing that they are a certified third-party registered agent with the Secretary of State and they want to set up a nonpartisan table to register people to vote, we don't have an issue with that. But we cannot have candidates there, and they cannot indicate that they are the Republican Party. And I'm not sure what the problem is. Commissioner Barella has made it sound like we are trying to suppress people, and we're not. And in fact, let me be clear. If you want to wear, not at the booth, but if you're walking around one of our events, you can wear whatever attire you want. If it's a pro-Trump, if it's an anti-Trump t-shirt, we're not trying to suppress free speech. Anybody's welcome to do that. What we're saying is we cannot have partisan politics at our citywide events, and we do that to protect our federal funding. It is in our city charter. It is a state law, and I think that Commissioner Barella knows that. So unfortunately, the only person that's playing politics here is Commissioner Barella or Republican Party of New Mexico Chair Barella or whichever person she decides to be that day. As for me, I am City of Alamogordo Mayor Susan Payne. I was elected on a nonpartisan ticket to represent all of our constituents, and I will continue to do that regardless of my personal political beliefs. That is all I have for now. If anybody ever has any questions, certainly you can reach out to me. My cell phone number is 575-214-0024. But quite frankly, if I'm to be honest about it, this whole thing is nonsense, and I am incredibly disappointed in our local Republican Party for even making an issue about something that is very much a non-issue.
I sent an email to Amy Barella. As of news deadline, I had not received a response. It's important to watch your water usage. We check now with Acting City Manager Dr. Stephanie Hernandez.
Hi, Alamogordo. This is Stephanie Hernandez, Acting City Manager for the City of Alamogordo. Just a friendly reminder, we enacted our outdoor watering schedule. Remember, odd number addresses water on Sunday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Even number addresses on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And also remember, absolutely no watering on Mondays, and always water before 9 a.m. or after 6 p.m. Thank you, and have a blessed week.
The village of Tularosa has a similar watering schedule in effect as well. Normally on Tuesdays, we would go to Pastor Johnny Walker. However, he's been under the weather for some time, and he tells me that he plans on returning next week. News from around the state in just a moment. This is Alamogordo Town News on Crazy Radio. I'm Anthony Lucero.
From basic to advanced computer repairs, it's GalacticGeeksPCRepair.com. Local business owned and operated by Greg Gutierrez. Available for on-site work from 9 to 6 daily. Installations, upgrades, even virus repair. For information, email Greg at GalacticGeeksPCRepair.com. Google IT support, professionally certified.
Hi, it's me, here to tell you about AlamogordoTownNews.org. KALH.org. This is Otero County's #1 source for local news, sports, and community. Quite frankly, AlamogordoTownNews.org is the Big Lies news service online. AlamogordoTownNews.org is a Second Life Media affiliated company.
Directory Plus is the right size book. It's the book if you need a phone book.
That's what just one person has to say about Directory Plus. With its red cover, features, colorful yellow pages, and lots more, it's no wonder people all over use Directory Plus.
It has so much more information. You can cross-check phone numbers or addresses or pretty much anything.
Look on the plus side, Directory Plus.
I'm a big fan of Directory Plus.
A search and rescue operation in Albuquerque ended with a body recovery. Units responded to 7 assigned rescue locations, and this led to the person being found lifeless in the North Diversion Channel. The Bernalillo County Fire Department also responded and successfully removed the body from the water. A coalition of organizations is calling on the New Mexico Environment Department to keep workers safe against New Mexico heat. The state's department is proposing a rule to establish a heat risk and illness plan for workers. Employers would be required to conduct a heat exposure assessment and implement control measures like access to water, paid rest breaks, cooling areas, and personnel monitoring. A coalition of labor, climate, public health, faith-based, and community organizations held a press conference yesterday to urge the NMED to keep the rule on track without delay until November. Justin Garrote, a climate and energy advocate with the Conservation Voters of New Mexico.
We are standing here in solidarity because we believe that no one should have to risk their health or their life just to earn a paycheck.
Some people who oppose the rule point out that there's already regulations in place. The Environmental Improvement Board is accepting comments about this from the public through July 17th. The New Mexico Taxation and Revenue Department is holding the upcoming delinquent property tax auctions in Debaca, Roosevelt, and Chaves counties. These auctions take place when both the county and state are unable to collect delinquent taxes on properties. That translates to the government seized property from those who bought the property but couldn't afford to repeatedly pay taxes on it. Registration for the auctions is available in person at 8 a.m. on the day of the auction. All bidders must be registered. A new study reveals free speech is increasingly under threat on college campuses from both the left and the right. Roz Brown has the story.
The nonpartisan, nonprofit Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression, known as FIRE, surveyed 58,000 college students, asking them about campus culture as it relates to comfort expressing ideas, tolerance for speakers, disruptive conduct, openness, and self-censorship. FIRE's chief research advisor, Sean Stevens, says assaults on speech come from all sides.
It's not just left-leaning faculty or students going after more conservative faculty and students. It's now like the federal government and whatever right-leaning faculty there might be left, and the students going after left-leaning speech.
The University of Virginia is the top-ranked school for free speech with an overall score of 73. New Mexico State ranked above average with a score of 58, while the University of New Mexico was below average with a score of 35. In the report, UNM was among 21 institutions cited for attempts to keep controversial conservative speakers or events from taking place on its campus. Schools struggled to uphold free speech rights as dueling protests overtook many college campuses in 2024. Stevens says the Trump administration's crackdown on universities and international students, ostensibly in the name of fighting anti-Semitism, has raised the stakes.
There's a much bigger cause for concern because it's also coming from the government. So faculty really need to step up because students are rightfully concerned that if they say the wrong thing, that the hammer might come down on them.
The data show an uptick around 2020 in punishments for speech and expression around the topic of police violence toward African Americans. Since then, other issues have taken center stage, including sexual harassment, abortion rights, transgender rights, and the Israel-Gaza war. I'm Roz Brown reporting.
You let him try violin because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Your Crazy Radio spot-on weather forecast for the Tularosa Basin today calls for sunny skies, partly cloudy tonight, mostly sunny tomorrow, winds gusting up to 20 miles per hour. Your high today in the basin, 87, low tonight of 64, high tomorrow, 90 degrees. In Cloudcroft, sunny skies today, partly cloudy tonight, mostly sunny tomorrow with a 20% chance of showers and storms, winds gusting up to 25 miles per hour. Your high today in Cloudcroft, 67. Low tonight of 46. High tomorrow, 68 degrees. Local breaking news can be found on our website, alamogordotownnews.org, and you can learn more about Crazy Radio by visiting kalhradio.org. Also, check out the Crazy KALH Radio YouTube channel. That's where we post our daily newscasts, complete interviews, and other information which concerns everyone in the Tularosa Basin. Be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to our channel if you've not done so already. That way you too can remain informed of the goings-on in the Tularosa Basin. And that concludes today's edition of Alamogordo Town News on Crazy Radio. I'm Anthony Lucero.